Oh, hi. You've cut me headed to the Smash Tower. This is a YouTube exclusive right here. Um, we're doing the COVID-19 slash coronavirus Anychat. And pardon the upside down. There we go. There we go. And we are also streaming live to Twitch momentarily from up in the Smash Tower. Pardon my lateness. We're going to talk about various news stories here, as there's a plethora of news stories to cover. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to start streaming to Twitch. It's twitch.tv/smAsho. So if you haven't tuned in there, go check that out. And we're going to be messing with the Opera browser here in a minute. And we will have the chat open also, so please leave a comment if you've tuned in. And we're going to just immediately stream to Twitch. And now we're streaming live to Twitch also. Twitch.tv/smAsho. And we are doing screen sharing over there. I'm trying to turn on the correct controls here. We're talking about COVID-19 slash coronavirus. What is going on? I thought I had. Oh, I see what's happening. Please bear with me one moment, YouTube. I just need to open the other browser and so on. If you've got any comments, we do have the live chat visible. I can see it. We will have it on the screen share momentarily also. So we'll have a companion video set up once again. 2 different exclusive live streams going to 2 different spots. So we are on Twitch, twitch.tv/smAsho, as well as on YouTube right now. So I'm just bringing up the page here so I can get the pop-out chat, as well as the title, which is COVID-19 / coronavirus Anychat live stream. There we go. And now everybody on Twitch should be seeing the correct stuff. There we go. Now we have the oh no's. Oh my God. Let me grow large enough to consume these letters. Anyway, head to the forum, folks, and we are going to put screen sharing back on in a moment. In the meantime, I just want to look up some news stories here, as we saw some interesting stories about things like recommendations that Americans wear masks, like surgical masks, when out in public. Now, personally, I'm somebody who's got a long history in PPE, known as personal protective equipment, as I used to do hardwood flooring back in the late 90s. And the boss used to use these dust masks, and those are not acceptable. You need an N95 mask if you're doing sanding hardwood floors. And, you know, that's no dig on him. he used the same kind of mask. But that prompted me to get an N95 quality mask. And I used a different type. I bought one of the kinds that has the dual filters on it to get a better seal and to be able to put dust caps on and have more options with filters, as opposed to the more basic N95 mask. So I upgraded a long time ago. I got the North style. North is one of the two main brands when it comes to that kind of mask. We're talking either North masks or 3M is the other type. So the CDC has now recommended that everybody going out in public wear cloth masks, and I understand the reasoning, because not all of us follow the same protocols when in public to prevent the transmission of communicable diseases. So some of us are in public a lot and very, very familiar with how to and how not to transmit communicable diseases. And other folks seem to have no idea, or they just don't care. And indeed, there are some maniacs out there that are intentionally trying to spread communicable diseases. So that's sort of weird. And I'm just checking out the stories here that I see while using a VPN. So for instance, I'm just going to go to CNN.com just for an example here. And I'm currently on a VPN with an Asian IP address in the browser, not for the stream. The stream is going to my normal. Anyway, so let's just see the headlines here. And by the way, if you are checking out CNN, leave us a comment and let us know what the headlines are if you view this as a non-Asian. My choices here are for the VPN, which is included free on the Opera browser, by the way. The choices are optimal location, Asia, Europe, or Americas. So we've got this set to Asia. Keep in mind, this slows down your bandwidth massively, but it is another example of a browser with the full complement of stuff. So let me just get rid of oh no's and turn on the screen share. There we go. And so using the Opera browser, again, it's just opera.com. Get a free browser there. And it includes a VPN. So I don't know if you're familiar with what that includes, but I'm not going to do an advertisement. I'm not paid to say this. I'm just citing the fact that there are lots of free VPNs out there. Anyway, what we get on CNN is dire warning for India. Doctors say country must prepare for onslaught as one of Asia's biggest slums reports first coronavirus death. So let's see how India is able to hold things down. Now, one thing about the smartphone revolution is that nowadays anybody can get the internet through mobile sites and through places like free cafes just by buying a $30 or $40 phone. And so lots of people have access to a lot of technology. So this is a good thing. This is involved in the model that we think may have helped out with the way South Korea, for instance, handled their COVID-19 outbreaks. But I think a very important thing is just to understand to have some personal efficacy, right? If you're not feeling well, obviously stay home. And some good news for everybody out there who is staying home is that I work for the food supply chain. I'm involved in laboratory testing, and I don't see any indication from clients or from our own company that there's any sort of a shortfall in the U.S. food supply chain. And with near 100% certainty, none in the Northeast North American portion of the food supply chain. And I'm just basically doing this at massive personal risk. I'm not paid to say it. I'm not representing the company. You won't be able to figure out who I work for. And I won't give any more information in this video about who I work for. But the point is, our schedule doesn't change, and we don't see any changes in anybody else. So it was a bit of a slow Thanksgiving. Usually Thanksgiving season is very busy for us. And Thanksgiving was slow, and that's because of delayed and missed plantings, because of flooding last year, because of heavy snowfall in the Northern Hemisphere. All that stuff is all too real, and food prices are really rising in the long scale. But that does not translate into a shortfall into the U.S. food supply chain at this point. The problems that you see with things being stocked or not stocked in stores is one of two things. It's suppliers deciding to not resupply stuff, or it's stores deciding to not resupply stuff, or you finding stores that have empty shelves before they've been resupplied. So I can't stress this enough. You know, there's a lot of unnecessary fear mongering out there on the internet. Please don't fall victim to disinformation, which, by the way, is even worse than misinformation. Because while disinformation is misinformation, it's like the difference between fraud and misrepresentation. One might be on purpose. One is certainly by accident. So that's a big deal. And let me see if I can get the live chat for YouTube popping out here. We've had some issues with the pop-out chat. Oh, we've got the pop-out chat. Nice. All right, so now you should have the screen share of the chat also if you're viewing on twitch.tv/smAsho. And again, we'll put the companion video up so that you can see either one if you prefer to just watch me talk about the same stories. Perhaps don't watch twice, but this is why we have to have exclusive content on different sites. We'll upload only the screen share one to BitChute also. It's bitchute.com/smAsho. You probably had that figured out by now. So what are you doing when you're holed up in a bunker, or perhaps in a tower, depending on whether you're in a bunker or a tower, or perhaps a fortress, or perhaps a tent, or maybe you've decided to go camping in a fishnet stocking. Who knows? One of the things I like to do is play Wolfenstein Enemy Territory. And I guess I'll have to include links. And also, by the way, head to the Death Dealers. Some of the best players in the public arena in the world located over there. And let's see if I can find them on Trackbase. I think we have one of the DDs in here. Anyway, the death, somebody was playing as 8 = capital D. Could you imagine who that might have been? I can't imagine who would. All right. Anyway, it's pretty easy to find those dudes if you just look at the player global top list. And you look at the top players, you'll find somebody right there, DD Swix. And dudes are cool. We highly endorse them, as well as Fearless Assassins, who runs the servers that we play on. And of course, you can find their forum also just by going to the server list /search. And it's all at et.trackbase.net. So for your gaming needs, this one's free. And FA Recruiting has 44 human players in it right now. How awesome is that? Check it out. You don't need a fast computer for this game. It's freeware. You can build your own maps. It is fantastic. And yeah, look at that. Those are all human players right there. There are 0 bots in there. Oh, wait, is that a bot? That might be a bot. But there's a lot of people in that server, and there is a constant, there is an ongoing community in this fantastic game, Wolfenstein Enemy Territory. It's based on Return to Castle Wolfenstein, which is kind of the modern FPS sequel to the oldest FPS that anybody played, which was Wolfenstein 3D, which is the predecessor to Doom, you know, ID Games, all that. Enemy Territory is on the Quake 3 engine, and it is fantastic. It's all objective maps, and there's a pretty lively competitive community also if you want to be like super hardcore. We're about to get some game servers here perhaps going, but for now, highly recommend the FA recruiting. And I think this Discord channel is just public. Somebody wanted to know why I wear sunglasses inside, and it has to do with the effects from the OBS software, and I'll just leave it at that. Let's talk about some articles. Satellites seem to be helping out with tracking your COVID-19. I think the planet has a temperature, and this image was featured in our daily space weather video this morning, where it looks like the sun was burning the earth to the ground. But don't worry, folks, it's not that kind of corona. It's not that kind of corona. It's not a Mexican corona. It's not a Mexican hat dance. It's pretty serious, like a highly communicable flu. I don't know if you've seen Veritas's videos. Veritas is doing some great investigative reporting as usual. But yeah, we're not trying to downplay things and all that sort of stuff or upplay things. We're trying to provide actual information. And so there's some stuff going on with using satellites. I have no idea. I honestly did not even read this article. It just got posted because SciTech Daily is so good that I think my mouse buttons are falling off, folks. Oh my God. It's okay, don't worry. I have a backup mouse, and then I have a backup mouse. I treat mice like quarterbacks. No screwing around. Apparently, Trump has fired a watchdog who handled Ukraine complaint. Is that John Kasich? I don't know what's going on there. I have no idea who that is, and frankly, my dear, well, you get the idea. Were you aware that there's an Extreme Tech article out there about 77 compounds that could fight the CV? Don't say the C word and don't say the V word, folks. We're not talking about lady parts here. We're talking about virus. Did that sound garbled? Virus. Anyway, apparently there are lots of compounds. Let's take a look. I don't know what. There we go. I'm not familiar with the opera controls, so let's see. And we're directed to a CNN article. Let's play a clip from their video. I didn't even know there was going to be a video. Oh my gosh. It's the dangers of streaming live.
As the novel coronavirus continues to spread around the globe and the death toll mounts.
All right, we'll just mute that. And let's see. It looks like Big Blue is not playing chess. Big Blue is trying to figure out how to prevent you from killing yourself. Another good choice is washing your hands and understanding when you've been tainted and when you're not. Because personally, I still go to the grocery store and I come home, put my groceries away, and then I wash my hands. So yeah, that's my procedure still hasn't changed, and there's a reason why you don't get sick in the first place. It's not because we're all just immune to everything. By the way, I have, I believe the worst blood type I heard is type B. And without saying which blood type I am, you can do the math. I've heard type O is the worst, but I've also heard, I've heard type O is the best. And in addition to type B being the worst, I've also heard type A is the worst. So please leave a comment if you have any idea what's going on with that. And oh, thanks for tuning in, Kahlo Jan, Sanford P, and whoever else is skulking. Are you skulking? Are you? Leave a comment if you're skulking. No, I guess you can't leave a comment because you wouldn't be skulking then. Anyway, lots of simulations going on where people write computer programs that include a bunch of data inputs that may or may not have anything to do with what's actually going on. And let's move on to some more tech stuff since we started talking gaming. What about 25 best Android tips? You missed, I don't know, you got to watch the earlier stuff, man. 25 best tips to make your phone more useful. Here we go. We're talking Android devices. Number 1, configure your lock screen, okay? If your lock screen is not configured correctly, you suck. Because you want to have your lock screen configured the way you want it. Do you have a pattern? Do you have a PIN? Do you have a fingerprint security? Do you have to send a cosmic ray from your brain into the phone? How does yours work? Do you have a neutron detector that you got to send a cosmic ray out of your skull? Let us know how that works. Next, disable apps that are junkware, such as music. This junkware here, this specific type of junkware, don't do it. Just disable that by going to the settings. They call it bloatware. I call it junkware because it's even worse than bloatware because it doesn't even work if you try to use it. A lot of the programs out there will not function. And they'll say, hey, download our other program that barely works, if it works at all. So disable that crap by going into your settings. Like that's the first thing we do, folks. You know, you buy a PC or something like that. What do? You get rid of the junkware. Just uninstall that crap. Now, of course, the best scenario is always to have a vanilla copy where you install a fresh OS, and that's all you've got. Let me bring up the comments here. I see some comments. You got to uninstall all of that crap. And yeah, I do need to do nonstop laughing. I need to get a laugh track that just plays in the background and goes ha 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 ha, like when the Joker dies at the end of the first Batman movie starring Michael Keaton, and he's got like a laughing box. Exactly. So anyway, uninstall that bloatware. Add mobile data tracking. That's a thing you can do to track how much mobile data you're using, so you can limit the apps that you do use from doing stupid things that you don't want. Don't forget your do not disturb settings, which determines how your ringer works and, you know, whether it beeps or vibrates or whether it's alarm only and stuff like that. Don't forget your digital well-being. I don't know what the hell that is, but I'm going to read it now. So please bear with me. Again, if you're viewing on Twitch, you should see something completely different than if you're viewing on YouTube. Because on Twitch, I can go and I can funnel my scrolling lettering into my mouth and eat it because it's so yummy. Anyway, the digital well-being suite, I don't know what the hell that is, but I would not do any kind of fitness stuff with a mobile device. That's just stupid, except to track me with a GPS. That I do. I do track my rides, and where I track my rides to is classified. Oh, yes. And no, I do not keep a training log. I don't even know how many miles I rode in 2019, and I don't care. By the way, for all you folks out there who are viewing the video and counting your roller and trainer miles as real miles on a bike, subtract those from your yearly totals forever, because those aren't miles. Those are a bunch of wheels spinning around, wasting your tires. Make sure your photos back up automatically. Now, I would never do this kind of a thing either, just personally. Now, you may want to do that if you like a hands-off approach. I have a heavily hands-on approach. And what do we have here? All right, I'm just going to scroll these comments, and whether or not I say anything is another. How much I get gaslit is what depends on how much I'll laugh. So the more I'm gaslit, the more I'll laugh. Or actually, the more people attempt to gaslight. Because remember, folks, you're not being gaslit because somebody is saying nonsense about things that you claim to have, that they claim that you've done, but you didn't actually do. Therefore, you're a jerk, or you're uninformed, or you don't read, or some nonsense like that. What happens is, if you're really gaslit, you believe it, and then you're like, oh no, they called me, here's why I'm not a racist. If somebody makes some ridiculous claim about you that makes no sense and is based on nothing other than them making it up, turn into them and don't try to defend yourself except by saying, you're an idiot. All right, there's my debate lesson for the day. I know you're an idiot is not an appropriate debate tactic, but if the person you're debating is an idiot, they're not worth debating. Therefore, you call them an idiot because they've lost the debate when they did some kind of an ad hominem attack on you, suggesting that you don't know what you're talking about because reasons. That's you get the idea, I think. You know, we're going to have live streaming on BitChute soon, by the way. And while I love Twitch, we need more different markets in the market, because the solution, folks, is more pie, not to take somebody else's, because there's lots of pie to be made. Just get the pie in the right place, and it won't be a pie in the sky. And you'll actually see the content that you've preferred to watch. Isn't that amazing? By the way, I don't know if you're aware. I know everybody can see chevrons. See these chevrons on the shoulder? Were you aware that chevrons on your cycling jersey make you more safe? Yeah, there's lots of science about it from Australia. Chevrons, for some reason, chevrons make you more likely to get run over by a car on a bike. Why? Psychology, vision, optics, stuff like that. All right, so I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about, so I'm just going to move on to, I don't back up my photos automatically. I think that's intrusive software, but I try to back my photos up by putting them in a folder where I understand where it is. And here's one of the biggest problems that I have with Android Junkware. Android should be good. Sadly, Android is crap. And the reason Android is crap is because they've replaced the file menu with the share menu, which is BS. This OK Google voice match has to go too. I'll get to that in a minute. So, share. Why is it that when you want to save a file on your Android device, you need to press share? If that is not a crock of shite, I've never seen a crock of shite, but I would imagine that having share instead of file, you know, where you have like save as, open at, you know, what we call a file menu in the real world of computing that Google's forgotten all about for some effing reason. So yeah, I don't know what the hell the deal is with that, but for some reason, Google has decided via the Android Junkware OS that we need to have share. Saving a file is not sharing a file, you cretins. I mean, look, when we save a file, that's because we want to preserve it. When we're sharing a file, that means that we want somebody else to have access to it. You see the difference there? Sharing, saving, sharing, saving. They're not the same thing. What kind of nonsense is this? How did Google figure out that we're going to use share to replace save? It's going to make our menus almost even work. And then go try to look for a file on your Android device. I defy you. I mean, not if you give me an appropriate command, but I defy you to find a file on your Android device. What is the path to that? On your computer, it's probably something like, oh, I don't know, C:/files/pictures of your mama, something like that. I don't know. Seems pretty simple. All right, now let's get back to Google. Other failures of Google. Okay, Google. And I apologize if you've now failed to continue to watch the video, because some horrific software has now done a search for what I'm saying at this point. But don't say it. Just say, okay, voice match. Disable this horrific, awe-inspiringly nonsensical feature. Or if you have, I don't know, if you have Siri or Amazon, like whatever the stupid, idiotic command words that cause an annoying window to pop up on the screen and then record what you're saying and then search the internet for it, that shit should be banned. That should not even be legal. The default settings on a lot of these devices are just a pure indication that it's spyware. Think about it. Like, are you really running this crap? You know how many billions of minutes are wasted every day through this junkware where you try to click on something? You ever notice how you try to click on something and you like click the wrong thing, and then you visit advertiser, and then you want to stab yourself, and then you call the National Suicide Hotline, and then you get another ad, and then you try to call 911, and then you get another ad, and then you really do stab yourself? Like, you know how that works? Okay, just checking. All right, so let's see. Global Anonymous running the world. You cannot debate a Manchurian drone. The programming goes too deep. Did you know that the word of the day today, folks, is tocilizumab? No, it's not really that. The word of the day today is solecism. Solecism. So let's not get wordy when we're talking about horrific software. As we don't want to talk about the man holding us down. Don't talk. The first rule about the man holding you down is don't talk about the man holding you down. All right, I'm just messing around. Try a different home screen. That's a great thing. You know, put a cool desktop. I don't have a phone on me because I smashed my phone yesterday because the junkware is such a piece of crap. Did you set up okay with the assistant? The first rule of Voldemort is you don't say the word Google. Otherwise, their AI will burn down its own servers trying to calculate what it is you've just said, because their AI couldn't code its way out of a tissue paper greenhouse at the equator during a hurricane. So set up Google Assistant by disabling it entirely. And I mean, you can disable all the spyware if you know where it's all located. Manage apps in the web Play Store, because as soon as you install one of these devices, you'll have to install like 15. As soon as you activate one of these devices, you'll have to install like 15 apps to be able to do what you're trying to do. And many of them will have, of course, permissions that they don't need because they're spyware. Use screen pinning, which I don't know what that is. So again, please bear with me while I read what the heck that is. Ah, yes. There's also screen splitting too. Some things you can hold the square button and it'll like split the screen into two screens, so you can be spied on by two different apps simultaneously. And one of them might even work. All right, do we have more comments? I think I saw more comments. All right. Yes. Oh my God. Too many nudes. How many nudes can you? Holy crow, the transcription's going to include the word toad, chode, nab, noob, nub, nib, and knob. How about that? All right. What else do we have to say? And has anybody looked at the stock price of FLIR, FLIR? It's, I believe, NASDAQ, FLIR. I just happened to bring it up the other day. Was that serendipity? The forward-looking infrared radar that have to be installed on self-driving vehicles. The stock price, let's just say it bounced back up. Now, it's not above the rest of everything, but guess what? It didn't continue to fall despite being one of the biggest losers on one of the biggest losing days. FLIR, forward-looking infrared radar. Do you have any? Do you have forward-looking infrared radar? Or are you utterly, utterly confused? Bestoic has a video I should share. Okay. Yelling when opening a YouTube video. I try to yell at the beginning of the videos because then people are like, oh my God. Anyway, let us know what keyboard you use also. If you use like a custom keyboard. Let me just see if there's any Twitch comments. Hey, shout out to Bestoic. Putting comments on Twitch. Holla. Anyway, screen pinning. You can prevent the thing from switching apps by using screen pinning. Swipe input. It might speed up your typing and it might slow it down depending on how you type. And if you have sausage fingers or tiny fingers that are like mosquito proboscis, human hair diameter for some reason. And let me just say that companies that make the software need to make bigger buttons because many of them are nearly unpressable. As I prefer to use a device that's closer to the size of a deck of cards than to the size of a billboard on the side of a highway. For some reason, a lot of companies keep making phones that boast having a 65-inch screen, and it seems a little rough putting these things in your pockets and things. Power saving modes, screen timeout, stuff like that. Having the screen dark actually does save battery a little bit because if it puts out less light, that means it's using less battery. So there's that. Also, let's hope that your phone is not designed to break down on purpose and become slower, as some Apple devices have been proved to do, where they said, oh, we were slowing it down for your own good. So don't think you can hide in Apple devices. Don't get me started on Apple. This is only about one certain completely failing portion of computing. It's the Android OS. And by the way, we need a new mobile OS, a Linux-based OS, like Android, that's actually open source. Just saying. Oh, I know. Android's based on an open source code and yada, yada, yada. It's not open source. Google owns the code and you can't know what's in it. Because it sucks. Their executives are in meetings about politics while they pay people $25 an hour to write Junkware code. So yeah, system dark theme. Also manage default apps. Don't forget to use a browser like Brave or Opera or DuckDuckGo browser or anything besides Chrome. Because Chrome is just the epitome. It's the most epic spyware that we've ever seen. How about developer options? Why you'd be developing software on an Android phone, I have no freaking idea. I'm just going to bypass that because I have no idea what the hell that's about. Rotation lock button. I don't know why you would care about that either. Autofill service. What the heck does that mean? Visit your input settings. What? Third-party apps like LastPass and Dashlane also have support. Okay. Oh, so you never have to type a password. Geez. Screencasting. Now that's very useful. And by the way, any TV that has an HDMI input can be transformed into a smart device. So this is, I'm going to have to make an advertisement for Google here, as we've got a Chromecast device and it works fantastic. You can make any TV into a smart TV by casting your phone to your television. So it's brilliant. They cost about $35. That's about what we paid for ours. So you could cast this video or literally just the screen of your phone. You can put your phone outside on a tripod and use your phone as a game camera just by casting to the screen of your television. It's brilliant. It connects via your Wi-Fi, and highly recommended. And in fact, it's even involved in why we make these videos in the first place, because it's all directly involved in us viewing the content on a larger screen and showing it to people on a larger screen. So screencasting is highly recommended. It does enable more spying to be available on you. But if you're using all sorts of Android phones and the associated services and apps, you are 100% spied on. So, I mean, if you think you're James Bond, you're trying to hide from the CIA or something like that, look, you have different procedures. Don't get screencasting. And all of this advice regarding tech and security is for novelty purposes only. Notification channels, make sure you know what apps are able to send what notifications. Kind of important. Anyway, the articles on Extreme Tech are good. So if you haven't checked out extremetech.com, it's well edited, and shout out to the editor over there. Well done. Customize quick settings. Of course, you want certain features in your drop-down drawer and all that stuff. So don't forget to customize those. Factory reset protection, set a backup account. And look, Google has some great software. Google is saving your contacts in a lot of these cases. Google Maps, I use Google Maps on the regs. So, Google isn't all bad, but some of the stuff that Google does is completely inappropriate. And so, yeah, that's on Extreme Tech, 25 best Android tips to make your phone more useful. And I've got Anderson Cooper's face and Chris Cuomo's face on my screen here. Let's play a clip. I don't know what this is supposed to be.
I believe that it has helped me.
Chris Cuomo, COVID-19 patient. Let's get back to the COVID-19
in periods.
I think he said he had a lower IQ and periods. Please confirm that if you've been watching. Do you think he really has a lower IQ and periods, folks? I mean, that seems crazy. Maybe I misunderstood. Although we're hoping that he's cured of his greaseballism. Wait, what is it? His propaganda, his solecism. All right, just kidding, folks. I would never make fun of a COVID-19 patient, even if it's Chris Cuomo, as it's very serious. And although he looks like his condition is pretty okay. And yeah, so what else do we have to say? It's nose. Oh my God. Are you see? Do you look at what's this? This is starting to become, it smells weird too. I don't know. Doesn't really bother me. Anyway, have you been to the website yet? It is a good place to go. You can consume a lot of information. Whether you're a Patreon or you go to smAsho.org. It's Pack Smash. Oh, it's coming out the back of my brainstem. All right, we got to stop this. All right. So is there anything else we need to cover, folks? Let us know. We've definitely updated smAshomash.com/forum amply. If you haven't headed there yet, check it out. The latest posts are indeed about the following subjects. Last updated about 4 hours ago. We was talking about over there. We was talking about one of these letters over here from this guy, this effing guy over here, this Bob Casey dude. He's a U.S. Senator over there. But yesterday, most importantly, we defined this over here, a Cove Idiot. A Cove Idiot is someone who ignores the warnings regarding public health or safety, a person who hoards goods, denying them from their neighbors. Did you see that Cove Idiot with 300 rolls of toilet paper in his basket? That Cove Idiot is hugging everyone she sees. You're a Cove Idiot. Don't be a Cove Idiot. I'm not kidding. I'm not serious, folks. You're probably not a Cove Idiot. You over there. You're a son of a bitchin' Cove Idiot, aren't you? You ass. Why are you such a Cove Idiot? For goodness sakes. You're walking around with a pocket full of Ricola and you think it makes it okay to cough on somebody? Don't be an ass. All right. Seriously, though. We're up to 19 pages, and the most recent posts about coronavirus. Coronavirus. If you say it in German pronunciation, YouTube's Junkware algorithms will not be able to hear what you're saying about coronavirus. Coronavirus? U.S. Senator Bob Casey has sent a letter to those in Pennsylvania. Feel free to have a read about this, their users, and so on. And if you roll your R's, we will know you are from Bavaria. Do not play games in Bavaria. The beer is too good for this. Satellites are wanting to know everything about where you are at all times. And the ESA is taking emails and so on about how you may help to prevent for the spread of said COVID-19. I mean, how you say 19, coronavirus. By the way, it may spread more than 6 feet in the air. So here are the type of masks. And we talked earlier in the video about the way that I was highly trained in the use of particulate and anti-chem masks. That's anti-chem masks. So when you sneeze, you may create this horrible, horrible cloud of death and destruction in front of your face via this turbulent gas cloud, where you become like a solar wind emitter and you emit pure death from your mouth in this direction, while some rains down in this direction, raining death and destruction on all who lie beneath this turbulent corona mass ejection of you murdering people. Now, there are solutions to this, as the speeds can reach 100 feet per second, maybe not as fast as the corona whole wind stream. However, you do not want tiny virus-filled droplets all over your friends and your foes, because if you're beating your foes because you're trying to buy a doll for your son at Christmas and deciding to have a Festivus for the rest of us, you do not want the person who you are raining blows down on to be sick with the coronavirus. So keep a 6 feet distance and avoid sending a corona mass ejection of death onto your friends and foes. Next, be careful of gas clouds that go into air vents, as these air vents will then rain death down upon you in a different room and murder you. This is the deadly gas, which is different than Zyklon of any kind, whether A or B, much worse. And fresh air can help rid of coronavirus droplets. So you've got this the choice of the surgical masks. Let me get rid of, hey, I told you that you smell funny. So when I count, I'm going to close my eyes and I will count to 3 and you will be gone. Yeah? Achtung! All right, here we go. Let's test this out and make sure that this works properly. 1, 2, 5. Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay. Thank goodness. Anyways, this is what a surgical mask looks like. I don't know if you've known this or not before, but that is a surgical mask. Then you have an N95 mask, which is just a barely any better than a surgical mask, although it is rated to get rid of 95 or more % of particulates. Also, you have elastometric respirator for the climatation. And in this situation, this is what I used to use when doing the hardwood floor, yeah? Also, gehen wir. Wait. Should you make a homemade face mask? I don't know. I think the CDC says yes. Read the article. It's at smAsho.com/forum. What else do we have to cover? I don't know. How long it lives on steel, how long it lives on plastic, how long it lives on cardboard, how long it lives in sunlight, how long it lives in high temperatures, how long it lives in copper, how long it lives when your cells are exposed to hydroxychloroquine. Cleaning materials, please don't get yourself saturated with cleaning materials, as you will develop all kinds of horrible symptoms because you'll develop chemical toxicity, which is not to be confused with any sort of like flu type things, because those will be accompanied by a fever. And so, yeah, that's it's like you're like, that thing is gone, and then oh my God, it's just back, and then it's like, was it a reinfection? No, it was just a relapse because it was and yeah. So anyway, I think it's about time to end this live stream, as we don't want to get too silly and flippant in the face of like things. I'm gonna try to poke it with a pen. Let's try this. I'm trying to pull off some of these proteins. I don't know. I'm not impressed with you there. And it's time to end the stream. We are out of here. Please don't forget to head to smAshomash.com and patreon.com, as well as to smAshomash.org for more tasty content. And as far as you YouTube types, make sure you check out the alt tech sites, because there's other content in places. Holla.